Kyle Lowry gets a win in his return to Toronto, but this time with the Miami Heat as they take it 114-109. I'm Randy Urban, and this is Raptors Night Cap. We are in the Scotia Club in Scotiabank Arena, joined by Jack Armstrong, Paul Jones, and Sherman Hamilton.
You're back.
I'm back. Thanks for filling in,
Who
man.
let you back in?
The door was on. The door was actually unlocked.
Job,
I heard that. Okay.
He's got skills.
Enough. All right.
Did you ever Google Wally Pipp?
Yeah, I know Wally Pipp. All right, you're gonna be Wally Pipp out of here in a second.
Anyway.
Wow. Sensitive, huh?
Don't be so sensitive.
We're going to talk about Kyle Lowry a little bit later on in the show. But, Sherm, even without P.J. Tucker, even without Jimmy Butler, you knew this game wasn't going to be easy tonight.
There's that Miami Heat DNA regardless of who's on the floor.
Yeah.
And they play hard. They're going to play consistent. They're a lot like the Raptors when you think about it. I mean, no matter who's in the lineup or out of the lineup, who's coaching, who's not coaching, this team is going to play a certain way. And Miami did that. They were down. The Raptors seemed to have them at bay. And what do? They keep on grinding. They keep on working. Before you know it, the second half rolls around, third quarter. They start to make plays. Miami Heat plays are a good shooting team. They got back to their strength. They just know how to play.
Yeah.
And one thing is consistent. If they play hard, they're going to give themselves a chance to win. And we've said that night after night about the Raptors. When they play hard, especially on the defensive end, they're always going to be in games. And Miami got a good win on the road against a good Raptor team. And Miami had a lot of things against them in this game, and they got the job done.
Yeah. Jack, what strategies did they sort of impose to change the trajectory of this game in that second half?
Well, just one point I want to make because you
just forget about my question.
No, I'm going to answer it.
I'm kidding.
You mentioned P.J. Tucker and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
The Raptors miss OG Anunoby in a game like tonight. His floor spacing, his reliability and consistency as a perimeter defender against a team like this that really moved it and shot it well. So I just wanted to make that point because I think it's really important. I thought Miami picked up their defensive intensity, tried trapping the ball out of Fred VanVleet's hands a little bit. Their pickup point was higher. They showed some token pressure a little bit. Just tried to make the Raptors grind a little earlier in the clock. And I think when you put 5 shooters on the floor, the spacing was amazing. What did they have, 30 assists tonight?
Yeah.
So they really moved it. The ball didn't stick. And as good as Jimmy Butler is, sometimes he holds it for another bounce to make a play. And I think tonight the ball just skipped around, and it was hard for the defense to catch up to the offense.
Jack, I totally agree. And I look at that second half. Max Strus made 7 threes. I don't think he bounced the ball once.
Yeah.
Great point.
And so what's happening? The ball's moving, and you're a half a beat slow getting there. He shot prep, catch, it's gone. And you're there just as he's letting it go, or you're there just in time to kind of put the challenge up that doesn't really impact the shot. And I thought Miami did a really good job in the second half of moving the ball. And it's that simple. And we know when the ball moves and guys are catching it in rhythm, you don't need a bounce.
Yeah.
And I think that would, like, their shooting percentage for the game ended up over 50%.
Almost 52%.
Yeah.
And I will say this, too, to add to what you guys are saying. They tried to double-team Tyler Hero to get the ball out of his hands because of his breakdown ability. Mm-hmm. That forces your defensive rotations to be that much longer.
Good point.
And when a team's moving the ball the way Miami is, all of a sudden now that half a step, that extra step that it takes to get to that shooter that's in the corner,
it's too late.
You're not there.
Yeah, it's too late.
Can I go the other? You guys make great points. And can I go the other way now? When you don't have OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam particularly got to bounce it one more play to attract people to them to open things up a little bit. When you got OG in the corner, now you're saying, do I leave this guy? Because he can make that shot consistently. So it's you don't have as much flow in your offense because those guys got to play make a little more.
Well, and Miami got so many corner threes, which is where OG would be a lot of times on offense to get his looks. But did the Raptors play change a little bit, Jack or Jonesy, like in the second half?
I didn't think so. Like to Jack's point, I thought Miami took away some time and space from them. Mm-hmm. A little more time pressure, and we've all played. You're making open shots, and all of a sudden the guy's a little closer to you, and you're open and you're shooting it, but you're cognizant that that guy's a half a step closer than he was before. And there's a little less time, a little more pressure, and that's enough to throw your shot off. And I give Miami's defense credit, and then the ball movement at the other end offensively I thought was terrific.
Sherman, Raptors do a pretty good job of not letting, the big-time players of the other team beat them, but, Miami's supporting cast is good, right? Strus comes out of nowhere, and this guy has been, it's not just tonight. Like, he's
good.
He's knocking down corner threes the whole season.
Duncan Robinson barely played tonight.
Yeah. He's getting $80 million, and he's coming off the bench now.
Here's the other thing with that, to the point Duncan Robinson barely playing. When he's on the floor, people are sniffing him out. We're going at Duncan Robinson.
Yeah.
Max Strus is stronger.
Yeah.
He's tougher. He's a little more rugged.
Same with Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
You just can't go after him because he'll make you pay.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Fred and Kyle matchup?
I said this on the broadcast. It's like when you have an older brother.
Yeah.
And you're playing against him, and finally when you get to the point where you're good enough where you can beat him, and he's like, I don't want to play anymore. It's like, I'm done playing. Well, Fred got a chance to play against the older brother, and he had to play.
Yeah.
So it made it that much more fun. And, you can really see, and we've seen this before this matchup, how much input Kyle has into Fred's game today.
Yeah.
Fred was a leader when he got to Toronto as an undrafted free agent. He was a leader in a tryout. But you see his development. You can see so much of Kyle and what Fred does. And Fred speaks to it. He speaks to, picking up the things that he needed to get to and the things that he needed to avoid from watching Kyle. So when you have that kind of template where everything's on display for you, a person like Fred is going to extract whatever he can that he knows is going to help him, and he's going to stay away from what doesn't help him. But when you see them match up, you see Fred's got it. Look, big bro, you were great, but I got something for you. And Fred showed him today that he's still got a lot of game. And in typical Kyle form, you guys know this, Kyle is not going to back down from a fight ever.
No.
He's going to do whatever he can, and almost a triple-double tonight with the W.
Yeah.
So that's what the older brother does. Still kind of puts his foot on your neck as a bigger brother, right?
As an older, and he's older.
Yeah, legit.
That happens at my house too.
Oh, I know. That's why we enjoy Christian
Relate,
so
Randall.
much.
You can relate, right?
Enjoy Christian
I'm
so
better than him, but he still beats me. Figure that out.
Well, then are you really better than him?
That might be a neck up game.
That's right. Okay. But Jack, Fred does look more limber right now. Like he played a bit more with.
He's moving better.
Yes,
he's moving better.
Yeah.
Last 3 games, a lot better. And his, what was it? Thursday, I did the Minnesota game on Wednesday. His impact, just flying all over the place, and just being 2 places at once. He's got that back in his game again now, and he's flying all over the place again on both ends. So it's an encouraging sign for the Raptors. And you just hope that OG Anunoby is out for just a short period of time because, again, I think when you look at this team fully healthy, they can play with and beat anybody.
Tough out, man.
The margin of error gets a lot slimmer, though, when he's out.
And I will say this about tonight's game. It's frustrating that they lost because it did feel like this was a game they could have won. And I'm not too, obviously I would be upset if I'm a Toronto Raptor. But look, Strus hit 7 threes. Oladipo comes off the bench and hits 6 threes.
By the way, he might be the best non-free agent addition to the team that you could get out there.
Yeah. It feels like, Jonesy, that after that argument that Spoelstra and Butler had the other night, the Heat have won 4 in a row. Like, they've worked it out.
I wonder about that. No, you're right, but I wonder about the strategy behind that. Did Eric Spoelstra take a moment to, what, I need to do something here.
Yeah.
And we need to do something to have an open discussion about some stuff that's bothering me. When somebody says to you, hey, we need to talk. No, you need to listen, right? And that's what, I got that feeling from Eric Spoelstra. He had some things as they were coming close to the playoffs, some things hadn't been going well. I don't know, and you're right, all of a sudden, things have kind of turned around. Things have turned in the right direction. Not that they don't play hard, but they're not just playing hard, they're playing better now. Little things have been cleaned up to go along with the effort. And they're in first place right now. And there's conventional wisdom says you're good in first place, although there's that team in Brooklyn that's 10th right now, and if they win their way in, that's going to be a heck of a first-round series.
Jonesy always drops wisdom. He says it's not only time to talk, maybe it's time to listen.
Yeah.
I have 3 sons, right? And sometimes you have those moments with them where you got to have a little conflict, and conflict's good. You got to stir the pot a little bit. Yeah. Sherm's got 2 beautiful daughters. There's never that issue whatsoever. He's the hero.
And I'm always listening.
No. You underline beautiful. Wait till boyfriends come around. Then we'll have some
They'll
chats.
still be beautiful. Those boys will never know.
Let's talk about the return then, okay? Obviously,
Good
they did.
segue.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? So he gets the standing ovation. They give a great tribute. Yep. What were you feeling during that moment as a close personal friend of Kyle Lowry?
The good thing is I got to talk to him before the game, and, he gets it. Everything he did today, and you just understand he gets it. He appreciates what this organization meant to him, what the fan base meant to him, to his career, to his family. It's so much bigger than basketball when it comes to Kyle. This is where he grew up as a professional. And like he really feels the love and he really reciprocates that love. And it's tough because, we've seen great players come back to this organization and either there's a lot of friction or there's a little bit of friction. There's always a little hesitation in what it could be like. There was no doubt here. Fred was coming back to complete love and adoration, and it was well-deserved. So, it was a beautiful moment. It was one of those things where I wish he cried because I'd bother him for the rest of his life about it. But you could see he felt it, and he knew. He understood everything that went into it.
2 things. Number one, I'm a big Yankee fan. I'm sure that's not popular, but I am. And they're different people. But he is the Toronto Raptors version of Derek
Jeter. Yeah.
He is that consummate winner, role model, not only by his verbal skills, but more importantly by his actions. And Kyle Lowry, you hear from a lot of the younger Raptor players that play with him, and coaches that coached him, and staff members and everything. There was we're all visual learners to some degree. And watching him do his work, and I love the highlight video because a number of the highlights were of him taking charges. And that personifies kind of what Derek Jeter meant to the Yankees in terms of just making winning plays.
Yeah.
He's that. And number 2, this is the 27th year of the Raptors being in the NBA, and once again it proves that Toronto and Canada, this is a big-time operation here. I talked to a number of people with the Miami Heat after the game, and they were all blown away because, they walk around with a lot of self-confidence of who they are and what they've accomplished. And I think they see that this is one of the great markets in the NBA. And having a guy like Kyle have a moment like that tonight, I think it resonates in the NBA community that this is a place that if you play here, you're going to be beloved.
To that point, we had Randy Foy, Kyle's teammate from Villanova, on our radio show the other day.
Former Timberwolf.
And he talked about Kyle's growth. Coming into Villanova and watching Kyle fight with Mike Nardi in the first year, but Kyle, you're not the starting point guard. Well, no, I'm going to be. And the clashes with Coach Jay Wright daily, and how Coach Wright held him accountable, and how he started to grow. And Randy Foy said something from not being here that resonated with me. He said, Kyle's the kind of guy, when you show him love, he's going to love you back even more. And with all that was going on in Toronto and the fan base showing him love, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give you a title. I love you back so much, I'm going to give you a title. And he did everything he could. He sacrificed in that title year. And as Sherm talked about the friction, there will be no friction because the fan base loved him. He loved them back so much and gave them this title. They've got a title now. And every time you look at that banner up there, you're going to think about Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. He seems so settled, right?
He is.
He grew here.
And I think Sherm made a great point about crime. I think the night he gets the banner and the statue outside, that might be the night he cracks.
It might be the night he cracks. And if he doesn't, then he'd be an embarrassment to himself. Better cry for that.
Tonight he had a basketball game to win, you know?
Yeah. Let's talk about, a little bit more about his career real quick because, when I think about Kyle Lowry and the moments that sort of stand out, obviously the half-court shot, to beat Miami or to tie Miami to force to overtime, they ended up losing that game, was a crazy, one of the craziest things that I've ever seen live, right? But Game 6 of the finals, Sherm, the Raptors don't win if he doesn't come out playing the way he did, and it was really just a nice culmination of what he had tried to accomplish here.
Well, think about Game 5, how it ended.
That's where it was born out of.
He took a shot
being
and
blocked.
Draymond Green got a fingernail on it and deflected that shot, and that doesn't sit well with Kyle. He came back in Game 6, and it was like, let's just go. Like, get on my back. I'm going to pull this thing along. You guys come for the ride. And just think about Kyle's playoff journey as a Raptor. Remember all the way back when they played the Brooklyn Nets and that shot that got blocked at the end of the game by Paul Pierce. And I remember him lying on the ground in the middle of the key, hands over his face, and DeMar on top of him, talking to him and picking him up. You think about coming from that low to 2019 winning the championship. You've got to be tough. You've got to be resilient. You've got to be determined. You've got to be stubborn. And Kyle has all those qualities, sometimes to a fault, but for the majority of the time, it's to his benefit. And that just sums Kyle up. You just can't hold him down. He's going to find a way, somehow.
And I would argue that trait lives within this team right now.
Oh, yeah.
There are 5 to 7 games a year that you look at a team, whatever the dynamics are, that you just, who wants to fight a little more? It's middle of February, snowstorm, you're back-to-back night. You can win, you can lose. It's very, very easy to lose.
Yeah.
It's really hard to win. And I think Kyle
It's a great line.
really understands that trait that, late in the third quarter and it's a tie game and suddenly Toronto runs off an 11-2 run and now they're up whatever, 9 points at the end of 3 and he's in the huddle MFing guys saying, let's go right now, and winning a game like that they should have lost. That still lives in this group. What do they have, 45 wins right now?
Yeah.
Nobody picked them to win 40.
Over-under was 36.5.
They've won a lot of games this year with that bulldog mentality.
Yeah, and to Sherm's point, Game 7 against Brooklyn, I look back now and Kyle lay there because, well, one, they lost the game in the series, but there was no chance to make it up. Like, that was it. Finality. That was, sudden death. Whereas Game 5 in the finals, when that shot's blocked in the corner, that stews for 2 or 3 days. And what do you score? 16 straight to start the game in Game 6, something ridiculous like that. And that speaks to Jack and the mentality of, when a coach says, Jack, are you going to guard that guy or are you going to let him score 60 on you? If you're a competitor, you go, really? Okay. And that guy gets nothing else. Yeah. And you turn to the coach and go, is that good enough? Like, that's Kyle. He had that shot blocked in Game 5. It's like, oh no. Oh, hell no. We're not, we're 3-1. We are, there will be no comeback here. And I'm going to make sure. And I just think, to Jack's point, that's what he instills in every team that he goes to. And he tried to do it in places like Memphis and Houston, but they weren't ready for it, and he hadn't established himself as that kind of guy, and it was seen more of a nuisance or going against the grain, a contrarian, than a leader. But it was always in there, and to the guy's point, it always will be.
I want you to speculate here a little bit. Do you think that when he looks back at when he started his NBA journey, that this was where he was going to be and accomplish this, like to really,
No, I think Kyle looked at his future, especially when he got to Toronto, and he admits it. He didn't expect to be here that long. He expected to be here a year or two and then be on to the next spot. But this is Kyle. Kyle understands one thing. He can be stubborn. He can be a contrarian. He can butt heads. But he also recognizes when it's good for him. And he may not ever say it, but he'll act it out. And he understood that this team, this city, this organization was the best thing for him. There was a chance that New York was in the mix early when he was here. That didn't happen. And it's a blessing in disguise because Kyle had the ability to not only start on a team, but he had the ability to run the team. You know, he was the undoubted leader for this team.
Yeah.
You bring a star like Kawhi in, Kyle's still the leader.
Yeah.
Because he has earned that right.
And Kawhi respected that.
Yeah.
100%. And I think at the end of the day, the best leaders, they understand how to lead. And sometimes the best leaders know when to follow. And Kyle would empower teams. Think of all the bigs, the Jonases, the Pascal who started 38 games in his rookie season.
They love him.
They absolutely love him because he empowers them. That's what leadership does. And leadership leaves a legacy. And as Jack said, that DNA is still in this roster because of Kyle.
Your legacy as,
I'm
as a
getting
leader.
goosebumps.
No, but your legacy, and this is
This
like,
is sports, though. This is real.
It's philosophical, like the Yankees. It's been passed down, right?
Yep.
You talk about Jeter, but before them, there was Gehrig, there was DiMaggio.
Yeah.
It's passed down. And your legacy as a leader is how many leaders you leave behind. And look at what's happened to Toronto. Fred, Pascal, in a sense, OG. These guys had their hands on the trophy with Kyle. And to Jack and Sherm's point, they watched him work every day. You want to be a professional? This is what you got to do.
And I'll say this, you know, we've talked a lot about him today in this show because I think it's warranted because, you know, I do some stuff with Open Gym, obviously, and having to talk to fans before this game, just, you know, what he meant to them and that kind of stuff. And I've got some of the most articulate, passionate answers I've ever got from fans. And he helped grow a fan base, you know, just him alone. And it's funny, Jack, I'll go to you on this because I talked to one of the assistant coaches before the game too, and he said what Kyle did to the coaching staff was he made the coaching staff better.
Hey.
You know, because you know you got to bring it because he knows when he steps on the floor.
I'm a
smart
teacher,
person.
all right? The kid that sits in the front and says, "Oh, yes, Mr. Armstrong, yes," he doesn't make you a teacher.
No.
She doesn't make you a teacher. You know who makes you a teacher? Kyle Lowry, the kid that sits in the back and tips their chair.
Yeah.
And you got to get to them.
Yeah.
You got to get their attention and get them to buy in.
And Kyle has a great attention to detail, and there's going to be times he's going to challenge your viewpoint. And even though he might agree with it, he's going to challenge it anyway to stir the pot and see if you have backbone and conviction to say, you know what, Kyle, blank off. Yeah, I believe in what, and he's going to go, okay. I just wanted to make sure you had enough. You know, like he has
The answer is 7. Are you sure?
Yeah.
He's just poking you and challenging you.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are times, I mean, I've been very open about Kyle and I have had our moments where we've disagreed on things, and I have great respect for him. I think we get along really well now. And I like that in him, that you can go after him, he goes after you, nothing's personal, and he's just one of those guys that when at the end of the day, I really respect what he's about because he's about the good things. He wants to win. He's about the name on the front of the shirt, and he cares about the people that he's in the fight with. And it's really special. And the last thing I'll say is I just looked at something. I just saw something up there that says hockey. You know, he's like the Doug Gilmour.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, like people love Doug Gilmour in Toronto.
One of the guys said Wendell Clark.
Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmour, Wendell Clark. And he is just, for across, it's not just Ontario anymore, it's Canada. He's that, if you're in Edmonton or Calgary or Winnipeg, wherever, every team's got a hockey guy that they just love. And Kyle is that guy that in every city that they just go, he might not be the best player, like Wayne Gretzky or something like that played in Edmonton, but he's the guy I love the most. He's Mark Messier.
Yeah.
That's him.
And you know what? He made it cool to try hard, right? When he took the charge in the All-Star game, and it was just nice to see like that style of play be validated. It's not just
You want to win?
Yeah.
He's true to it. He's true to the core. He has a conviction about the way he feels you should play the game of basketball. And let's face it, Kyle's not going to win the beauty contest when it comes to his game.
Just as
But
suits.
man, is he going to be effective. Man, is he going to bring winning home. And to me, at the end of the day, that's the beauty about Kyle. It doesn't matter how it looks to him. He is going to get the job done. And we all can relate to that because everybody doesn't have Steph Curry or Kyrie Irving handles or is 6'9", 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet like Kevin Durant, can handle the ball or Joel Embiid. Kyle is a normal-sized human being. and he just gets it done.
Yeah.
We can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Because he works hard.
Yeah.
Bring the ship in, man.
beautiful
I don't care
thing.
how rough the water is. Bring
Yeah.
the ship
Beautiful
in.
thing.
You're pretty tall, though.
And that's how the Raptors are going to have to win in the playoffs this year
Right,
as
yeah,
well. Like,
right.
you know, it goes back to it. You know, they're going to have, if they're going to find a way to win a series,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the attributes that he brings to this team, that he brought to the team, are going to have to come out again, which is in them, which is a good thing.
Should we leave it there? I mean,
Greatest rapper
Yeah,
of
these
all
guys are
time.
getting very hungry. I don't
Yeah.
eat wings, but I know I could just tell.
we got to bring Leo in here.
Setting a good example. Eating wings this late is not a good thing.
Yeah,
For my
yeah.
stomach, but I'm having cheese. That's not good either. So.
Jack, I'll say one of the comments on the show when you didn't have food the last time was like, "You're looking so good, Jack. Don't worry about it. Eat the wings." You got a lot of love for how you're, how young you're looking.
Well, I don't know about young. I'm old and washed up.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Kyle,
Only a number, brother.
Kyle would disagree with you.
What?
Kyle would disagree
Oh,
with
okay.
you. Yeah.
They're going to pay me that kind of money?
Yeah. All right, we'll stop it there. Next game for the Raptors goes Tuesday night. Big one against the Atlanta Hawks. Tip-off goes at 7:30 p.m. Eastern right here in Scotiabank Arena. We will see you after the game.